Nathan Beats.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy Mr. 240. Back with another video today. You feel me? I just want to take a break from the gold video today. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, some overcame my heart just to do a personal video. I guess because I ain't did one in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Everything else been kind of fun, title, flashy. You know, if you new to the channel, like if you been a day one member to the channel, y'all know how I am about certain stories. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I just want to come over here and give y'all an interesting good one. You know what I'm saying? And it's about my dog, Superfly Jimmy Snuka. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know Jimmy Fly, Jimmy Fly Snuka was one of the first high flying wrestlers in history. I mean, he did give us the big steel cage moment when he fought Don Marenko back in 1983 when he jumped off the steel cage. Even the young Mick Foley was in the audience. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the best wrestlers, strong wrestlers in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? You know, one of the pioneers of the Samoan dynasty that's running right now. But then my boy did have controversy too. So we gotta talk about the controversy, but we don't get into that right now. So we all know the controversy I'm talking about. You know, the murder allegations he had from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And you know my boy went to trial. You can tell it took a toll on him at an old age. I think he passed away a year after this or something, after the verdict was in. You know what I'm saying? Whether he did it or not, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We weren't there. You know, all the people that know is her, him, and God. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So that's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? But and plus he got a daughter named Tamina that, you know what I'm saying? She was in the business for a minute, you feel me? But with all being said, hey man, sure, I want to give thanks to God. It won't be him, won't be no me, won't be no page, won't be no y'all. Before I start this video, man, hey y'all, we here. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to all my UK folks. Hope y'all stay strong. You know what I'm saying? It's getting real out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I said in the video, all we got is each other at the end of the day. And most importantly, all we got is God. You know what I'm saying? Well, we hear y'all. Like, it's time's spooky, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to deliver the most content I can give, because if YouTube start coming with this stuff, then I don't know what I'm gonna do at this point. But until it comes to the States, I'm just gonna give y'all 5 content, you know what I'm saying? But if you're new to the page, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button, you know what I'm saying? Let's start out with my boy early career, Mr. Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Let's go. So Snuka opted into more lucrative career of professional wrestling due to uncertainty of his living in bodybuilding. While he was working at Danho Gym in Hawaii, Snuka met many wrestlers who worked in the South Pacific region, decided to go and try the business. Snuka made his debut as Jimmy Koloa, fighting Maxwell Bunny Butler in Hawaii in 1970. He later moved to the mainland and wrestled for Dan on NWA Pacific Northwest Territory, where he held the belt as heavyweight champion 6 times. His first won the title by pinning Bull Ramos on November 16, 1973. It was in this territory that, I don't know dude's name, transformed himself into Jimmy Snuka. Well, that's his last name. I don't know his last name, but so Snuka held the NWA Pacific Northwest Tag Team Championship 6 times with Dutch Savage. Snuka also had a 2-year feud with rookie Jesse Body Ventura. Snuka also wrestled in several other National Wrestling Alliances, NWA, including Texas 1977. He won both Texas Heavyweight and Tag Team titles. Then he left for the Mid-Atlantic, where he formed a tag team with Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonder. In their first television match, they defeated NWA Tag Team Champion Jack and Jerry Briscoe in a non-title bout. Then, of course, Orndorff and Snooker defeated Baron Von Raschig and Greg Valentine to become tag team title holders in 1979. On September 1st, 1979. Well, on September 1st, 1979, Snooker defeated Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to hold the United States title. He also formed an alliance with Ray Stevens. His career eventually led him to Georgia, where he teamed up with Terry Gordy to win the NWA National Tag Team Championships by defeating Ted DiBiase and Steve. I don't know the dude's last name. I ain't gonna cat y'all. I don't like messing up people's last name. I don't want nobody to get offended. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why Russell Westbrook be getting mad or we butcher up the last name and mess it up. You know what I'm saying? But here it is. He made it to the big league. So remember the controversy I mentioned. So all this was going on. He was getting his shine on. But the controversy happened that we just discussed. So in 1982, Snooker entered the World Wrestling Federation as a villainous character under the guidance of Captain Lou Albano. Albano. Y'all, owe his schooling on that. I probably bushed it up, but you know what I mean. Snooker lost several title shots at WWF champion Bob Backlund, including a steel cage match at Madison Square Garden on June 28, 1982, in which Snooker leaped from top of the cage and missed a prone Backlund, who managed to roll out the way and escape the cage to get the dub. This contest was declared match of the year by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Even though Snooker portrayed a violent villain, he won fans because of his athletic style. In the storyline in 1982, Buddy Rogers told Snooker that Albano was cheating him financially. As a result, Snooker fired Albano and took on Rogers as a manager during the feud with his former manager, Freddie Blassie and Ray Stevens. The attack solidified Snooker's new role as a fan favorite. Seeking to settle the score, Snooker defeated Stevens in the majority of their series of matches between the two. He also faced several of Albano's wrestlers and defeated Albano in a steel cage in Madison Square Garden. I think Vince was just up north in New York at the time, you know what I'm saying? Vince Sr. before Vince took over and made it a national worldwide, you know what I'm saying? Snooker also feuded with Don Morocco in 1983, which began after Snooker entered the ring for a match against Don, I don't know the dude's last name, on June 18th of Championship Wrestling with Morocco. The Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion was being interviewed. Morocco, enraged the perceived lack of respect, confronted Snooker at ringside, triggering a brawl. This feud led to defining moments of Snooker's career. On October 17th, still came out just mentioned, in a steel cage match. The match ended at a loss for Snooker, but afterwards, he dragged Morocco back into the ring and connected with the famous Superfly Splash with a young Mick Foley in the crowd. See, right here. Featuring with future wrestling stars, the Sandman, Mick Foley, Tommy Dreamer, Bubba Ray were all in attendance. You know what I'm saying? Snooker was named 1983 Wrestler of the Year. Damn. I guess the Hogan jump wasn't hidden. Then, of course, Snooker became embroiled in a feud with one of the WWE top villains. You know what I'm saying? In a segment of Piper's Peak. Piper hit Snooker on the left side of his head, very close to the temple, with a coconut. This attack led to a series of grudge matches between the two. I think them dudes didn't like each other in real life either, you know what I'm saying? I think it was personal between both of them. Maybe I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? But they had a bunch of grudge matches throughout the summer of 1984. But in late 1984, Snooker had in a rehabilitation facility. The WWE created a storyline where Piper had broken Snooker neck by hitting him over the head with a chair. Tonga Kid, who was billed as Snooker's cousin, continued to feud on Snooker's behalf. Then, of course, The remainder of Snooker WWE stint, he frequently tangled with Piper one way or another, often in tag matches or Piper wrestling close associate Bob Orton Jr. Snooker defeated Orton at, at the Ward settled the score on February 18, 1985. An injury during the match forced Orton to wear a cast on his left arm, which continued to wear after the injury healed. It was part of the gimmick at that point. The feud played a small part in the first WrestleMania when Snooker acted as a cornerman of Hulk Hogan and Mr. T when they defeated Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper with Orton in their corner. And of course, he left WWE in 1985. But he did appear in Hulk Hogan cartoon Rockin' Wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Then when Hogan was big. You know what I'm saying? Then of course he went to New Japan for a minute. You know what I'm saying? He resurfaced in AWA, replacing Jerry Bagwell as Greg Gagne partner to defeat Bruiser Brody and Noah the Barbarian in a tag team cage match at Wrestle Rock. Then he had split from AWA and Japan between 1986 and 1987. His most notable feud during the time was Clanino De Beers, who betrayed a racist who looked down on Snooker because of his skin. Damn. I gotta look up this character for it. No, I'll look it up later. That's crazy. Snooker also worked Pacific North Wrestling and Continental Wrestling in 1988, where he worked a couple of matches in Singapore. Now, he did come back to the WWF, but by this time he had lost the muscles a little. I mean, he was big. He was jacked at that point. You know what I'm saying? I think my boy's on that juice. I'm sorry, you feel me? But we get to all this. He did come back to WWF at WrestleMania 5. 5, where he made his televised return to action on May 27th on Saturday Night Main Event, defeating Boris. I don't know that dude's name. And also, after a brief feud with Honky Tonk Man, Snooker made his pay-per-view debut against Ted DiBiase at SummerSlam. Snooker lost the match by a countout thanks to the interference of Virgil. You know what I'm saying? I would say Vincent, but I say Virgil. You know what I'm saying? But by the later part of 1989, Snooker was put into a spotlight many veterans before him, using him to put over rising such talent as Mr. Perfect at Survivor Series. Snooker and Hennig was each of the final remaining members of their team with Mr. Perfect, with Hennig pinning Snooker to get the win. So in 1990, Snooker made an appearance in the Royal Rumble match lasting 17 minutes, eliminating two competitors before being eliminated by Hulk Hogan. But he did have his first WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 6 against folks. One of them junk. Y'all know. But he was defeated by Rick Rude. When the Intercontinental Championship was vacated after WrestleMania, I guess that was Warrior. Snooker entered the tournament to crown a new champion, but he was eliminated in the first round when he came against Mr. Perfect. So in November Survivor Series, Snooker joined Jake Roberts and the Rockers in a losing effort against Rick Martel and the Warlord and Power and Glory. But he was Undertaker's first opponent at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? In the undefeated streak at the time. You feel me? He got manslaughter, which I want me to do. But in January of 1992, he did compete in the Royal Rumble for the vacant WWF Championship, which lasted 3 minutes. He was eliminated by Undertaker. He left WWE. He left WWE after his last recorded match being lost to Shawn Michaels on February 1992. But in the midst of it, he did join ECW, but he came back to WWE once again, 1993, defeating Brian Christopher at a Madison Square Garden house show. He returned to television 2 nights later, defeating Paul Dale with the Superfly Splash. And of course, he was in a battle royal for the vacant Intercontinental title, but he was eliminated by Rick Martel. And of course, he went to NWA for a minute. 1992, 1994. After leaving WWF in 1992, Snooker toured various smaller organizations, played a role in the formation of Todd Gordy, Philadelphia-based ECW, Eastern Championship Wrestling, an organization which featured Don Morocco, Terry Funk. Snooker made his debut as a fan favorite on April 25th when he won his first match, a battle royal to qualify for the ECW Heavyweight Championship against, I don't know dude's name, but the winner of the battle royal immediately after Snooker defeated dude to become the promotion's first heavyweight champion. A day later, he dropped the title to Johnny Hot Boy. Damn, that celebration didn't last long at all. Damn. But he returned to ECW on July 14, where he defeated Hot Boy to regain the title again, winning it for the second time. He made his first successful title defense against Mr. Sandman. He held the title for the next 2 months, defeating challengers like Super Destroyer number 1 and King Kalua before losing the title to Don Morocco on September 30th, a familiar rival. Snooker tried to challenge Morocco for the title, but he lost on October 24th. When he turned into a villain by a confrontation with color commentary Wayne Maynard, then attacking the ECW Terry Gordy with a chair. Snooker took on Hunter Q. Robbins as his manager and closed the year losing to David Boy Smith on December 19th. But Snooker became a member of the Paul E. Dangerous new faction, Hot Stuff International, and debuted on the company's television program ECW Championship Wrestling, and won the 8-man tournament for the vacant television championship by defeating Larry Winters and the undefeated Tommy Cairo and Glenn Osborne. Snooker teamed up with stablemate Eddie Gilbert in Morocco. Snooker made his first televised title defense against Osborne on May 25th on Eastern Championship Wrestling, where Snooker retained. Snooker successfully defended the title against J.T. Smith and NWA Pennsylvania champion Tommy Cairo at Super Summer Sizzler Spectacular. And also defending the title on Eastern Championship Wrestling, Snooker lost the title to Terry Funk in a brutal steel cage match at NWA Bloodfest. Damn, sound like it was lit. You know what I'm saying? Snooker took place at the Night Line the Snooker Noble match took place at the Night Line was crossed in 1994, where he faced rising star Tommy Dreamer in an infamous match. During the match, Dreamer kicked out of a pinfall attempted by attempted by Snooker after the Super Fly Splash, thus making one of the few times in wrestling history the opponent kicked out of the finishing move. Snooker still managed to win by delivering 3 splashes, but he continued to assault Tommy Dreamer after the match, which began a feud between the two. Snooker lost to Dreamer on March 5th after beating him in a steel cage match at Ultimate Jeopardy. Snooker wrestled one last match at Hardcore Heaven, where he and the Taz picked up a tag team victory over the Pit Bulls. Later that month, Eastern Championship Wrestling was taken over by Paul Heyman, and then when they changed the name. But I'm gonna stop right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, he had a nice little appearance in WCW for a minute. And, you know, over the years he did, you know, special appearances on the independent circle, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front, man. I ain't like seeing my boy on the independent circle, man. I ain't like that, man. Like, you should be a legend, you should be at home retiring, chilling, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, he had that case on his mind. So basically, to be honest with you, man, down the rest till he died. I mean, he did get a little highlight in 09 when he was involved in the, you know, Jericho versus the Legend, handicap match, which I didn't like. I liked the Steamboat versus Jericho at Backlash better than that. But, you know, Jericho being disrespectful to the Legends at that point. Yeah, and the Legends had to team up and give him their work, you know what I'm saying? I think Jericho won the match as I'm reading it right now. But we gotta read the controversy. Did he do it? Or did he didn't do it? I don't know. When I saw the dark side of the ring, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. She went out like that. So I can't say the man did it or not. I'm not the judge. It just kind of skeptical, but I wasn't in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? But let's get to the controversy. So May 10, 1983, a few hours after defeating Jose Estrada at WWE television taping. In Allentown, Pennsylvania, Snooker placed a call for ambulance when an emergency personnel arrived at his room at George Washington Manor Lodge. They found that his girlfriend and mistress, I think he was married at the time, and they said this one Vince had covered up for him, you know what I'm saying, allegedly, you know what I'm saying. So like man, like all I'm saying is cause I got my own problem going on. It be so funny. I ain't saying him, but it be fun for like, man, I killed this dude, I killed her, she killed me. Man, you might think you got away with it right here. But in that spiritual realm, it's gonna get real, you know what I'm saying? We all gonna be judged someday, you feel me? And my man saying he ain't do it, but I'm talking to people that be bragging, that get straight. So I don't need no controversy or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Cause they say he was the only suspect in the room and she was laid up, you know what I'm saying? So what happened was, let me see right here, you know what I'm saying? Cause they said it was a possible sign of domestic violence, you know what I'm saying? So what happened was Snooker had been previously arrested for beating on her, the woman, in January 18, 1983 in a hotel in Savannah, New York. So fighting off several deputies who were called by the hotel night manager. Although Argentino initially sought prosecution, she later denied wanting such in a later release file from the murder investigation. And officer notes indicates Vince tried to talk her out of making a complaint against Snooker. You know what I'm saying? So of course y'all know on September 15, 2015, 32 years later the accident, Snooker was arrested and charged with third degree murder and involuntary manslaughter for Argentina's death. It is the oldest case in Lewis County history. On October 7th, Snooker lawyers agreed to forego a preliminary hearing, which the prosecution contended was a waste of court resources given the grand jury investigation in return. They received it's a waste of time given they received transcripts from other evidence from the investigation, which defense Robert J. Curran II said would be much helpful in preparing Snooker case than hearing. So, they had the trial. So for like 8-9 months. And I was seeing my boy photos and stuff, man. That stuff probably taking a toll on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm this old, man. I'm going through all this, bruh. But that's part of the game, man. When family want justice, I don't care if it's 2 years, 34 years, 9 years, 2 hours. They want justice for their loved ones, you know what I'm saying? And they want justice for their loved ones, and I'm going according to what the script say. You was the only one there, and you feel me? Like, like not being funny, I'm just being real. You feel me? Like, and sometimes you gotta pay for what you gotta do but your soul. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying you did, I ain't saying you didn't do it, but I ain't the jury, I ain't this, you know what I'm saying? I just go by consequences in life, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all gotta pay for something, you know what I'm saying? Whether, you know what I'm saying, you did this, that, you can repent all that, but you still gotta get punished at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because you can never get away with anything in this world. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be stuff you got to answer to. You know what I'm saying? And here it is. So they found my man's. The judge Snooker pleaded not guilty before Judge Kelly Batch. A hearing determined Snooker compliance, I guess, for the trial began in May 2016. Snooker's attorney argued that a forensic pathology found Snooker's mental and physical health to be deteriorating. Prosecutors countered by showing a tape of Snooker performing wrestling moves at a May 2015 show. On June 1st, Batch ruled Snooker was not mentally competent to stand trial for murder and that a new hearing would be held 6 months later to reevaluate his competence. Though his attorneys maintained his condition would not improve over time, the judge dismissed the charges on January 3rd, 2017. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't have trial, they dismissed it. So it's kind of one of the things that we'll never know. You know what I'm saying? And of course, my boy had family stuff going on, wife sick. You know what I'm saying? And then he got sick. You feel me? Then 2 weeks later, after the trial, my boy passed away in his home in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Due to terminal illness. You feel me? So I just leave it at that. Like, my prayers go out to her family. You know what I'm saying? That she had to go out like that. You know what I'm saying? If she was getting abused, beat up. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't cool. You feel me? My heart go out to him. You feel me? That he had to go through his the last days. Being mentally ill and sickness. You feel me? And life gonna kick your ass, man. At one point, you feel me? Like whatever going on in your life. So you just make sure that, man, you're living right, you're doing right, and shoot, enjoy life as your last. It's your last. Cause I'm pretty sure she ain't expect nobody to put her hands on and beat her up, and then she got peace out. You know what I'm saying? Like, she ain't get a chance to live her full life. So sometimes you gotta be careful that you make them type of decisions. You feel me? So it's either you gonna do right, you know what I'm saying? You gonna do wrong, but just be careful. Cause once you make that decision, you can't come back from it. Especially got something to do with life and death. You know what I mean? Especially got something to do with life and death. Cause shoot, I remember, bro, when I was little, I wasn't even little. Shit, I mean, I love my grandma. Shoot, you were all born, you know what I'm saying, to a dude put her hands on it, you know what I'm saying? From what I heard. But yeah, of course, I had an uncle of mine who died in the streets, you know what I'm saying? When I was like, I think we were about 27, something like that. So life ain't no game out here, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Hey, man, that man was a legend. A legend. Went from high hopes to saved. You know what I'm saying? So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'm out. Peace.
Nathan Beats.